Heyo everybody, Haku here with my live reaction for Tower of God Chapter 611 or Season 3 Episode 194, closing in actually on Episode 200. But we've been going through kind of a rough spot with Tower of God, but again, I've been saying people have been hyping good stuff up for forever. I have no idea what any of this is, but I have faith that things very soon are going to get a lot better. But even here, even with this rough spot, this spot that a lot of people haven't liked, a lot of people have found it to be kind of contentious. I really haven't minded it. I think last week's chapter was my least favorite of them, but really, I haven't disliked any of this stuff. I haven't really hated it or anything. Any issues I have are issues with the overall story, and maybe see you just trying to maybe do some things too big too quickly, but generally I haven't had a problem with it. And so again, if this is like a low, if this is a low point, I'm just like, yeah, I don't really mind. It's not really that bad. I have been through much worse with other series that I love. It just gets me so excited for how the rest of this arc could go for people that are way further in the arc than me. Before we get into it, I guess there's not really a whole lot to say, but there are a few things. So I posted a video yesterday asking, what princess do you want to see show up in the main story next? It's been really cool to see responses from that. I think I might wait a little bit longer and see how many different responses for different characters I get, and then by next week's reaction I'll maybe put those together and see how many people said of each one. I invited other Tower of God content creators to do the same, and I think at least Naya and Animosity plan to do videos at the very least, so I look forward to seeing what they have to say about it, and we'll share their stuff when they make stuff as well. And I guess that's it as far as that goes. Also, something that I have been wanting to share every single week, but I keep forgetting every single week. Elegias, every single week has been making a chapter by chapter update of the game rules and where all of the different characters are, and it's been very, very helpful, and I've wanted to share it every week, but I keep forgetting every week, and I'm so sorry. But I wanted to put it up here this time. The rules I feel like we know by now, but these are where all the characters are. We now know the last of the Popodao pieces. We aren't even sure about who some of the defeated characters, what their pieces were, but one thing from the very beginning, we only saw 5 branch leaders / Holin at the beginning of this, so there's still one that has been a mystery this entire time. Is it going to be White Garment Widow, or did she stay back at the floating castle, the battleship or whatever, when everybody else left? We haven't seen her all arc, so we still don't know who the mystery piece could be. Maybe CU's going to be doing some kind of special some sort of special trick or something there. Let me see if I can't move this so you can see, yeah, the 2 that are eliminated, we still don't know their pieces yet. Face cam's covering it a little bit, but I wanted to show off this, and before I reveal this other image to you all, I want to ask you all a question, and think about it to yourself. Think about what you would say before I show you. Who do you think is the most well-written character in Tower of God? Who would you say, out of all the characters, who would you say is the most well-written? Not necessarily your favorite, but who's the most well-written? Now, Elias, again, asked us this in Discord, and, they said, my favorite, or not favorite, but the one I think is the most well-developed is Joaquin. And then Pyro Prima, another Tower of God content creator, his reaction will be tomorrow, go check his out, said that if the ball wasn't dropped on a knock, he'd say a knock, but since the ball was dropped, he'd say Rachel. And me, I was like, I agree with Elias. I would say that to me the most well-developed or the most well-written character is Joaquin, because compared to these other characters, I can specifically make an outline, and I've done this a bunch, so I'm not going to do it again, of okay, we had this character development for him, then this development, and how his story follows a really easy to follow outline, And because of that, I'm like, I could see it going this direction, I could see it going that direction. I can also kind of predict what's coming next for him. So I think he's been a really well done character, and I think Rachel is good too, despite not being able to be outlined like that, because Rachel's a character that we have a lot of development for in the way that she treats others, in the way that she reacts to things, in the way that she sees the world around her. But a big part of the Rachel stuff is the mystery behind her and how much we aren't just given, how much we don't just know. So I think Rachel's also a good choice, and why I told you to think of it to yourself, because before this was shared with us, those were our answers. But after having our answers, Eligeus actually went and took all the characters that people answered in the original thread, I think it was on Reddit, and said, and put them all together in an image. And these are all the things that people answered. So the most amount of people, when asked who the... I'm going to get rid of this other one so it's easier to see. Hang on a second. Nope, that was incorrect. That was the wrong image. There we go. That way it's easier to just pick this out. Just look at this. So when asked, the majority of people said that they thought the most well-written character in the series was Rachel, followed by Joaquin, then Bomb, which is a weird one, Yasracha, Traumaray. I get all of these. I actually think towards the bottom, I think Daniel and Hatsu are underrated choices. I think those are underrated picks. When it comes to the most well-written characters in the series, these are what the most people answered. And again, that's just a small sample of people. But I thought it was a really interesting thing to think about, and to see how it seems like most people, not even like me and Pyro, without knowing what other people were saying ahead of time, said, Rachel and Joaquin. Other people are also saying Rachel and Joaquin. And then, to me, I don't think Bomb is bad. I think if you take Bomb, Kun, and Rack pre-Hell Train, it's like really solidly done. It's just Hell Train onward, we get into these issues where Kun has some really good moments. One of my favorite things with Kun is when he's training with Evan, and this plays into, like, the reason I wanted to bring this up and talk about it on video is because it plays into what I was saying last week with the Bomb, Kun, and Rack stuff sometimes being the least good stuff going on. That's why I wanted to talk about this, to talk about Bomb, Kun, and Rack. So when Kun's training with Evan, Evan's like, why are you following Bomb? Why are you risking all this, giving up all this to follow Bomb? And Kun's like, imagine you have this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, like an irregular shows up, all this other stuff. How could you sit around and not follow along with this opportunity? How could you not follow Bomb? And it just kind of makes me think we barely get into the Maria stuff, which is something that when I asked people like, what princess do you want to see next? People were saying Maria because it would help with Kun's development and actually kickstart some more personal stuff for him. Because what I've been thinking going into like this chapter and stuff is, where does Kun's development lie without Bomb? Like, Kun at this point, everything in season 3 really has just been following Bomb around. That's been Kun's only thing, is just following Bomb around. We don't really have a lot of personal stuff for him, and I'm not even sure I know what personal stuff for Kun looks like at this point. And the same goes with Rack. I think Rack for too long has just been in the background. He's been comic relief, and so I like that we're getting some development with him, but I hate how sporadic and rare it is to get development with him. And the stuff that happened is good and bad with him not like remembering the state he was in. I think the ideal state to me would be if he remembered it but wasn't in control of it at the time. But even him not remembering it and thinking afterward, wow, how do we win? What happened? Is a way to hint at future potential for him while also not making it some easy cop-out that he can tap into at any point. But even then, I guess that's something that people could argue about. But I don't think it's the worst thing ever. And for Bomb, again, I think his development was going so well, and even, I like Season 3 Bomb. I think Season 3 Bomb's really entertaining. I think that the issue at this point isn't Bomb's development or overall character, because I'm fine. I like the, overall character and everything with Bomb. My issue isn't with Bomb himself, but mostly how CU will use him in the story to just have Bomb do something, and there's not much explanation. It's like, okay, Bomb just does a thing, and there's not much drama behind it. It's not like, oh my god, what's going to happen here? There are very often situations that are solved by Bomb just doing something and like, okay, it's fine now. Like, I actually think the Rack and Bomb conflict last chapter would have been more interesting if Bomb had a tougher time trying to stop Rack from attacking him while also trying not to hurt Rack himself. Like, if maybe because of Rack's abilities, reverse flow control didn't work on him as well or something. Something like that could have been very interesting. But instead, Bomb just kind of touches him, a light sparkles, and then he's fine. And I think that, I don't hate it, but I think that some more drama could have been taken out of that. Also, something else, I love that there's this universal thing. Another question to ask all of you: how do you all feel about Chibi Rack? Because I was watching Ron Can's reactions last week to, like, not just last week's chapter, but the stuff he had been behind on that he caught up to. And he was just saying how much he hates how much that we're stuck with Chibi Rack. And I feel like that's such a universal thing. Everybody thought it was funny at first, but every single person that I watch make videos, that I talk to, every single person hates how much Rack is stuck. It's such a universal thing. Hates how much he's stuck as a comic relief. Hates how much we never see the full form Rack. Hates how much we're stuck with Chibi Rack. Everybody wants more of the original Rack as he was. Everybody wants that, so you can get some cool new outfits and stuff like Ron Cam was saying, but we're just stuck with the same outfit, same Chibi Rack, doing the same things. And man, it's kind of rough. I just thought it was so funny how that's such a universal thing that I don't think anybody likes him being Chibi Rack all the time. But I guess, again, that's it before getting into the chapter, except one last thing I wanted to say. Other than, for me, Joaquin being one of the most well-written, thinking about it, I would also say, for me, Endorsi/Androssi/Andorthi, I think she would be up there for me. But Siyu, this is something I've meant to say for chapters now, but I keep forgetting to bring up this topic. It feels like Siyu spins wheels on her, where we got development, and it was all very clear about her, having this set path, but then meeting Bomb, who shows her another way, or that the tower doesn't need to be like this, and then her kind of getting shaken more and more romantic stuff towards Bomb, and then meeting Garam was a huge thing because that's something that she wanted to do because of the Nox backstory and how Garam had left the whole Zahard Princess system at this point. And the issue to me is that the stuff we've gotten in Season 3 with Andrasi feels like it's spinning wheels a little bit with stuff that we already got for her before. Like, we're Usopping a bit with Andrasi. She's getting Usopped, where Usopp is one of the most Flanderized characters in One Piece, where he gets Ash Ketchum'd, where it's like Ash had to learn the same lessons and the same moral of the story over and over again. It feels like Usopp will go through the same development and need to learn the same lessons over and over again. Like, didn't you learn this already 2 years ago? Didn't we go through a whole thing about this? And it feels like Andrasi will similarly, in Season 3, kind of go through some things that are nice, but it also feels like she's kind of spinning wheels in the same place as a character. And if she goes in a romantic direction towards Bomb for the end game, then that's one thing. But if she doesn't, and her story isn't really about the leaving Zahard's princess system in order to, like, chase or seek love and seek family like what was taken from her, but if it is instead just to rebel against the system, then that to me feels like really, really close, maybe too similar to Yuri's plotline, who Yuri is another really well-written character to me, but again, I think that might be too similar to Yuri's plotline. But either way, usual long 15-minute Haku intro out of the way. Let's start reading the actual chapter. Sorry I took too long with that, but I just wanted to talk about all this stuff. I wanted to share all this stuff, maybe get some of your opinions in the comments on all those things I asked, but everything aside, my hair's already falling out and looks terrible. It's kind of toasty in here, but either way, let's read. We got chapter 611, violence warning, but don't we always? Dumas, says Bomb. And then, irregular. I finally found you. Bomb versus Dumas 1. Oh, I am not filled with confidence. Bomb, what are you doing here? Dumas is looking for you. Why would you come to him like this? But I thought you were in danger, Kun. Don't worry about me. I can take care of myself. And then we have the spears coming in, and Dumas himself coming in, actually. Bomb. And he ducks it, and is able to kick him under the jaw. Then looks like he's also... Oh no, this is still just the same shot. But we're seeing the spears come in towards Bomb. He's able to avoid. Bomb. It's a good thing he wants me alive. If Dumas attacked with the intention of killing me just now, I'd already be dead. And there's another issue with Bomb. One of the things that I thought about with chapters that were rated lowly, there was one chapter that had a really low score, and I was like, what happened there? And it's the chapter where Bellerir is making this game to Traumery and everything, and people in the comments were complaining, like, come on, why is a family head being treated with so much disrespect by these characters like Bomb's group and everything? And that's kind of also an issue when Kun, like, interrupted the family head conflict and was like, oh, let me make a deal with you two. It made sense for the characters to go along with it, but it's just weird Kun stepping in. And again, Kun and Bomb and these characters, where we've seen these branch leaders, these high rankers, and really important characters shitting themselves over characters like Dumas and Lobadan. And it feels like that's how characters like that should be treated. But then it feels like some of the gravitas is taken away with characters like Bomb and Kun just not really caring about Dumas here. And Siu's been doing the same thing again and again with the family heads, now with Dumas, where he's like, oh, if they were serious, I'd be dead. And yeah, character-wise, it makes sense. They don't want to actually kill Bomb. But it feels like we've been through the same song and dance so many times of Bomb up against an opponent that's way stronger, and Siu trying to do the manhwa main character is OP, look how cool he is thing with Bomb, while, like, it just feels like, A, it's too early for it, and there always has to be all these qualifiers of, we want Bomb to look cool, so let's have him stand up in front of this really strong character. But we can't just completely disregard scaling for other characters, so let's put some sort of qualifier. Oh, he's not really trying. And if you do it occasionally, that seems normal, but it just feels like, especially in just the past 10 to 20 chapters, we've done the same thing so many times. So I'm really not the hugest fan of Bomb standing up to Dumas, like, at all, personally. Bomb, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. That guy took out 2 branch leaders without even using his arms. He's extremely powerful. I know, I could tell just from watching him fight for a minute. He looks different from before. He transformed after the branch leaders attacked him. This might be hard to believe, but maybe he's immortal or something. And again, I still think there's a good chance that he's either transformed, because it looks similar to, or I guess beastified, but it looks similar to Yasracha's form, or this isn't actually his real body. This might be hard to believe, but maybe he's immortal or something. I mean, we do know at least he keeps his heart somewhere else like Karaka, maybe? Stop being so negative, Turtle. We haven't even fought him yet. My spear will find and pierce that bastard's heart somehow. I'll try to block any spear attacks that come at us, although I won't be able to hold him off for very long. It'll be tough, but I'll try to find a weak point. Okay, I'll fight him in the meantime, watch my back. And now, we have him charging again. Here he comes. Don't show any sign of fear. You have to be strong against him. Got it. We have them going in towards one another. The spears go past him. The spear's right behind me. Then Kun and Rak prepare. They crash straight through his barrier. He destroyed the barrier in one hit. And they tear past. Kun, Rak, and of course, immediately disregarding Kun and getting distracted. Pwah! And he's actually grabbed onto, and he's getting torn to the side and thrown. Alright. And I keep forgetting, yeah, it's not floor flying up, it's like debris from the branches, because we're inside the sprout. Ah! We have blood coming out. Bomb! That guy really is a beast. And I don't think he was even trying just now. This isn't good. I don't see a way for us to beat him. He's bringing out the sweet fish, who is very blue this time around. Sweet fish. If I keep using this flame, I have a feeling something bad will happen eventually. Damn it, why do I always debate with myself about this? It always seems like things couldn't possibly be any worse than they already are. Irregular. Our family head is looking for you. Don't try to resist, just come with me. I'm afraid I can't do that. We made a bet with the family head for our freedom, and if I let you take me away, I can't win the bet. You stole the family head's book. You're a thief. I actually kind of love Dumas. Like, him going all edgy, like Edgar Allan Poe Dumas with his little speech to the branch leaders last chapter, and now all of this like stuff. It's really fun. I must take you with me. I didn't mean to take it, but what if the family head didn't read the contents of that book? Hasn't it occurred to you that perhaps there were things in that book the family head shouldn't have seen? I don't know about this. I don't think that's very persuasive, nor do I think it's a very good argument. And he pulls out the red Thrissa transformation. But it seems like Dumas is just really insanely fast. Yeah, he's so fast. He grabs onto his arm and flings him again. He's just gonna throw him again and again. He slams him down this time. And it looks like he might be grabbing onto his head again. Slamming him into the ground cheese. And Bomb is getting more injured. The family head is greater than the tower's entire history and every text written in it. There is no book in the tower that he's not entitled to read. And this, I like that this line is kind of calling back to when he got the empty book, and it's like, you're not entitled to read this. All the Popodal family heads, all the Popodal family's head librarians were born from the family leader's writing. Each one of us received a part of his character. Okay, so it seems like... So we don't know who counts as a head librarian. He's saying each one of us, so that would make me... that would make us all think, presumably, that Dumas is part of it. It kind of, again, feels kind of lame that he can just decide to make people as strong as Dumas. That does feel kind of lame. But that would mean we know for sure Dumas, Michel, and Richemont is already returned to Gaston. So again, I wonder if it's he takes parts of himself to make them, and to get those parts of himself back, he has to take them back. But even then, I think that's really, really lame compared to them just being actual kids of him. But there's those three. You would think Proust is probably one. So we've seen first-class librarians, Ruini and Varan. So Ruini and Varan, since they're first class and not head librarians, they're probably not from the family head's writing. And then Kier, the other members of like the inner circle, the book club, are Kier, Ernaud, and Hugo. So it's questionable if those three are also parts of his writings. It's questionable if Tiara is a part of his writing, or if Tiara is actually a real person. And then there's the fluffy hat guy. He's another one that's questionable. But yeah, Varan is probably a real person. Ruini's probably a real person. And Bellarier's probably also a real person, because Bellarier is like weaker. And we saw the flashback there, so he's probably... But I hate the fact that it's even questionable. I don't know. I think that this plot point's pretty lame, personally. I received the family head's strictness. You're going to have to come with me. Oh, no, you don't. You're not taking him anywhere. And then we have a huge blue flame. What in the world? What's that blue flame? Die. And we have an eruption from it. And the blue flames burning on top of Dumas. He looks back. Is that supposed to be hot? Oh, it will be. The flames that sweetfish use are no ordinary fire. I'm not completely sure how to use it, but I have a feeling I'm going to need it now. And this looks like the seal from Leviathan appearing. A magic circle? I once teamed up with someone named White. This was one of his spells. I'm not sure because I took his power, but it looks like I can use it now too. What a lame way to give Kun a power up to, especially when he already never uses the ice. Jeez. Yeah, I'm sorry guys. I'm sorry to be negative ever at any chapter, but God, I think this kind of sucks. I don't know. I'm starting to really just not like Kun. Do you know what the best part of this spell is? I can feel it. The power of the sweetfish's flame is combined with the power I stole from White. It's becoming way stronger than it was before. And again, this was already a power that was kind of randomly given to him after the Wun Yian thing, that again, people already generally didn't like the sweetfish that much. I don't know, I feel like Kun's development here is so confusing. It's become way stronger than it was before. All I need to do is gather all the power at once, and then detonate it. Like it's the least natural feeling development ever. It steals my opponent's life force and power. Alright. Then we have thorns. He's still towering over Bomb. Alright. And I think he falls over in front of him. Huh? Is Dumas dead? And are we gonna get cliffhung? Oh no, never mind. Another panel. Is he really dead? And Kun falls over. Damn it, what's wrong with me? Why do I feel so cold? It's almost like the whole world has frozen. It feels as though some sort of tremendous power is rushing at me from over there. So is he just going to absorb Dumas's power and just get another lame, like, unnatural power boost? It seems like Dumas breaks out of this. Then we have shots of the three of them. Light coming from Dumas. Then more of these structures. Is this good? I mean, it looks like Gastong's stuff. It looks like his inventory, kind of. Is he here? If these are like lighthouses or observers, they're like really creative looking. What the? Huh? Is that? And we get real Dumas. Okay, so we do have real human body Dumas. Because he has the eyes on it. That's interesting. I wonder if those are like markings or if those are actual eyes. And if they are actual eyes, it kind of reminds me of like the Kelhalam and Evankel stuff. Interesting character design stuff. But then again, since he is just, like, it makes him so much less cooler since he's just one of Gastong's riding people. Interesting though. So I think he probably doesn't have a power like that because he is just a riding person. Dumas? It's been a long time since I last saw a living being here. Oh! He didn't come out. I think he pulled them in to his heart realm like Karaka does. It's been a long time since I last saw a living being here. That could be a problem. The family head ordered me to bring that boy to him alive, but this isn't going to be easy. To be continued. That's probably... I think getting to see the real Dumas at the end is neat. Aside from that, this is probably maybe my least favorite chapter in all of Tower of God. Kun at this point is just generally getting almost unbearable to me when he's around. His development is just, like I said, everything is tied to Bomb. He just barely has anything on his own. And what we do get from him is just so unnatural, even more unnatural than Bomb. Just, hey, have a new power-up, absorb something new, and then never use the old stuff you had. Even, like, more unnatural than that, being like, oh hey, we'll give you this thing, you don't have to sacrifice anything for it, go through anything internally for it, don't really need to like train for it, we're just going to give you something and it's going to power you up so that you can stand around with Bomb and Rack. But I don't know, Kun is just really, really, really lame at this point, which is a shame, because reading through season 1, I thought he was like the coolest character ever, and man, how the mighty have fallen. Like, I'm really starting to just genuinely not even like this guy. This is probably my harshest critique I've ever done reading a Tower of God chapter, but man, was I not a fan of that. Like, man, was that not enjoyable. The fight itself also was just, you know, Damas throws some spears at them, whatever, he's not actually trying. He slams Bomb into the ground a couple times, not actually trying. Now they're in the heart, probably is going to continue to not try. Like, I don't know. Again, I know people have been hyping stuff up, so I know it has to get better. And it's funny that I think people tended to hate, maybe I'm wrong, but it seemed like people were hating the Rack stuff more than the stuff that that happened last week. But man, these last 2 chapters were rough. Yeah, this was maybe the least good of the 611 chapters of Tower of God. That was rough. Like, I'm trying to think of some positive things, and there were some things here and there. Damas is cool, he's neat. I don't like the plot point of people just being made from Gastang's riding. It takes away some of Enryu being a person who made people from Shinsu. It takes away some of that. It takes away some of the workshop's hype, though you could say that it's tied into the workshop because the workshop can make people. But I don't know, it feels like it takes away from other characters and other lore that was neat. It makes Dumas way lamer, knowing that he's not like an actual person, he's just one of the riding people, which makes me take him way less seriously, not combat-wise, not fighting-wise, but just as a character. It just feels like it makes him lose his own agency a bit. So, I don't know. Just not the biggest fan of so much this chapter. And again, there were some callbacks in the dialogue to previous stuff that I thought was neat. The stuff with the book getting to Gastang and saying, you aren't entitled to read this, where Damas is like, how could he not be entitled to read something, where Bomb is the one entitled to read it? Stuff like that I think is interesting and a neat callback from Siyu, but I don't know, just what a mess of a chapter. And I might feel different after sitting on it for a while, because there's plenty of times where I'll sit on something and I'm like, it's not as bad as I thought it was. Or occasionally sit on things and it's worse than I thought it was. But wow. Yeah, I don't know. Scathing read through, it would seem. But either way, that's it. Gotta kind of leave this one with deflated sails. And I guess, as much as I want to try to be positive, I just can't blame myself too much if I think Siyu put out a stinker chapter. But yeah, I guess I'll end here. Thank you for watching. If you did like the video, comment down there too. Again, talk about the stuff at the beginning in the intro, what you thought of the chapter, my first thoughts and reaction to it. Really, may or may not. Again, I hate being negative just because I like to maintain positivity about the things that I read, but also I hate being negative because I know that I might be lining myself up for some annoying comments. But subscribe for more Tower of God, much more on the channel. Again, I did plenty earlier this week. I'm planning to start doing a reread stream series. What sucks is that with my schedule, I don't know that there's a specific time each day or each week that I can set aside to let you all know ahead of time, this is exactly what day and time we're doing it. But I do want to do a Tower of God reread because people have asked for it, and I'll be streaming that. So again, there's going to be more Tower of God stuff. Follow on Twitter if you want. If you want a link to the Discord server, it's free and open for anyone. Just ask and I can give you a link. And if you would like to help support the channel, you can drop a super thanks down below. If you want to help me keep making videos, then you could hit join down below if you want to get One Piece videos early as well and get shout outs at the end of each video. yeah, hit join down below to become a member. Go to patreon.com/HakuOfTheTubes, or a link will be in the description to become a patron. Thank you so much to people who are already patrons and members. Thank you to Chosen Regular Evan Holly, Magical Girls, FR Nono and Abyss Knight, Cheriton Students, David Lang, Sevenfolded Ghoul, Slayer Candidates, SG and Stan Cedar, and Pure Element Pate Ardiavel. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.